I'm back and I'm holding my favorite book, so you know I got something to say. So I want to talk about willful ignorance. So Professor Timothy Snyder talks a lot in his book on tyranny about the importance of truth. He really encourages people to get out there, read books, do research, really dig in and understand facts and separate facts from fiction. Because one thing that an authoritarian regime does is try to dumb down society, because a society that is unintelligent is easier to control. Think about that when you hear about the Department of Education being dismantled. They don't do this because they think it's wasteful. I know that's what they're feeding you. I know that's the line. But if you actually look into what the Department of Education does, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it doesn't need a lot of help. But if you look at what it actually does in its functions, it does help millions of American children all over the country. But when you get rid of it, it lowers the standards, and that feeds into Project 2025's desire to also have a streamlined pipeline from public schools to military that is grade-based. So you may have recently seen that I posted a video going into the research that Erin Chenoweth has done on the efficacy of peaceful demonstrations versus violent demonstrations in the face of tyranny. And when she reviewed the different types of conflicts from the 1900s up through today, she and I were surprised to find that peaceful demonstrations are twice as effective as violent demonstrations. Now, as I said, I was surprised. I expected what I think most of us expect, which is violence gets the job done. But it turns out if you have enough people, at least 3.5% of the population, coming together and peacefully saying, you need to change this, especially if they are striking, so shutting down the economy, then it actually works. Specifically, you can look at the People's Power movement in the Philippines, which successfully overturned the Marcos regime in just 4 days in 1986. Or in 2003, look at how the Georgian people ousted their dictator during the Bloodless Rose Revolution. So those are just two examples, but Chenoweth's research goes into more. Well, I got a comment on my YouTube video. I shouldn't respond to comments. I know. But here's the thing about me. I am all about trying to build bridges. So if someone is commenting, even if it's negative, but it is a fleshed out comment and it looks like they're open to a conversation, then I'm probably going to engage. If it's a shitty flippant comment, whatever, I'm going to ignore that. So this guy wrote that he had never heard of anything like that and that sounds crazy. So I gave him a link to where he could actually read all of Erin Chenoweth's work. It's all free. You can get it yourself at scholar.google.com. And of course, the response that I received is, oh, I don't read research articles and I don't use Google. I just talk to people. Then he also tried to cite the Civil War and the American Revolution as if the entire world is just wars that happened on American soil over 100 years ago, well, more than 100 years ago. I'm sorry, but Rick, there is a whole frickin' world out there, and the United States is just one country in it. And you are one small human in this one large world. And if you think that you can understand everything about everything by just having conversations with the other small humans that are close to you in your little world, then you will never find truth. Timothy Snyder says to abandon truth is to abandon freedom. And I fully believe in that. The ignorant things that have been repeated over and over and over until the far right, I'm not calling them Republicans anymore, man. I know plenty of good Republicans. I'm talking about the MAGA people who have just believed the lies that have been regurgitated over and over. If they could just step outside of their small communities and read a book, look at a research article, talk to people from other countries instead of just their neighbors, then maybe we wouldn't be in this mess. I spoon-fed this human the answers so that when he said, I have never heard of this, Well, buddy, now you have. And even that was a bridge too far. We are all responsible for being informed. There is disinformation on every side of the political spectrum right now, and it is our job to educate ourselves. Please, for the love of God, read a book.